They can be in this at any moment. They just gotta up their mental game, let their talent speak.
Amazing placement. What a shot.
A Yahtzee overhead.
Aspect of mental toughness here that's just different.
I like the body language of all four players.
Oh, look at that shot! Great hands from Kiro.
Hello and welcome to the APTA Tour presented by Volley. We are live from the Short Hills Club in Short Hills, New Jersey, bringing you the 2024 Short Hills Grand Prix, which is the 13th stop on the 2023-2024 APTA Tour, with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors, Volley Infusion, and local sponsors. Our lead sponsor, Corian, platinum sponsors here, Maplewood Ford and New Jersey Men's Platform Tennis Association. Thanks to our gold sponsors, Club Pilates and Smith Chiropractic. I'm Patty Hogan, along with the one and only Connor Bring, bringing you a men's quarterfinal matchup between our number 4 seeded team of Sven Burus and Guillermo Nunez versus
Gents, if you don't mind, I can do the
McNerney
introduction
and
now.
Mark Powers. Welcome, Connor.
All right.
Thanks, Patty. Thanks for having me.
Ladies and
Really
gentlemen,
excited about
welcome
this,
to the 2024 Short Hills Invitational
and as
Grand
you'll see
Prix
here in a second, in the
men's
backcourt
quarterfinal. To my right, in the deuce court, from Chicago, Illinois.
We'll listen to our
Graham
umpire here,
McNerney.
Connor,
Yep.
and then you can pick up where he leaves
His
off.
partner
great.
from New York City, Mark Powers. To my left, in the deuce court, from New York City, Guillermo Nunez. His partner from Morristown, New Jersey, Sven Burus. McNerney Powers have won the toss and have elected to receive.
That was our umpire, Elaine Villamure. And looking at our screen here, in the backcourt on the deuce side, we have Guillermo Nunez, the lefty, and his partner on the ad court, former national champion Sven Burus. And at the net, on the right side of the net, with the long hair and the blue t-shirt, you have Graham McNerney out of Chicago. And then his partner to his left, you have former national champion Mark Powers. This match will be best 2 out of 3 sets. In this tournament, as in most tournaments, all backdraw matches will be regular scoring, best 2 out of 3 sets. The third set tie break in lieu of a full third set.
Yeah, Connor, this is going to be something we're used to seeing Mark Powers with John Hughes. These guys, one of the top teams in the country for years, and John Hughes is a family man. He's got twins and on the way.
Usually happens.
It's so Mark Powers is out here, and Graham McNerney, who plays a lot with everybody.
He does.
Including a lot with Juan Araya, is teamed up with Powers for this Short Hills Invitational. And this is going to be an intriguing matchup. This is from the top to bottom of the draw. We have our number 1 seeded team of Durant and Mitchell, and their quarterfinal, which will start shortly, is against Bosterman Rams. We've got Christian and West in another quarter against club host pro Chris Humphreys and Felipe Osis Koenig. Then we have this quarter, and then on the bottom of the draw, the last quarter, Hanson Wright up against our tournament number 2 seeds, Fraser Morgan.
I'm really excited about this match, Patty. I think looking at all the quarterfinal matches, I think this is the most even matchup. You know, you don't see any clear favorite in this match. You have 2 former national champions going against each other. You have Sven Burus, who has won with his partner Mikar Doya, a lefty. And then you have Mark Powers, again, who won nationals a few years back with John Hughes. So, and Sven's partner, Guillermo Nunez, also a lefty, is a really exciting up-and-coming player. Just won the Atlantic Classic that we hosted in Ridgewood a few weeks back. So I'm really excited about this matchup. Graham's been a veteran on the tour for a long time now. He won Chicago Charities this year with Juan Araya. So all the players on the court are proven champions, can win a big tournament, have played in the big matches. So it'll be really exciting to see what happens here.
Yeah, and Mark Powers, starting in 2018, he won nationals with John Hughes. They beat the 3-year run of Broderick Palmer in the finals of nationals there. They reached the finals of nationals in 2019, where they lost to Araya and Parsons. 2021 Nats, they lost in the semis. 22 Nats, he lost in the finals to Burus or Doya. So it is a treat for paddle fans when Mark Powers decides to join the action, because he's one of my favorite guys all time to watch play. He can bring it from anywhere on the court. Just, came out of the junior ranks, former junior national champ, adult national champ.
Absolutely, Patty, and you said it there yourself. You can create offense on just about any shot on the court. It's a low ball, it's a high ball, deep in the court, short in the court. One of the most explosive players in the game, great offensive mind, and then you have a great partner playing alongside him in Graham McNerney. He volleys well at the net. He's definitely one of the top setup guys in the tour, so to say. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. You have Guillermo Nunez, who's new on the tour. When he won the Atlantic Classic a few weeks back, he was playing the ad court, which is a lefty you don't see too often, so it'll be interesting to see what he does here with Sven.
Yeah, and I mean, what's been the whole theme of the season, the men's and women's side, a lot of players pairing up with different partners. You don't see someone playing every event with their regular partner. The guys are all mixing it up, and I think it's tremendously beneficial to them to mix it up and kind of play with a different guy who hits different shots and kind of lets you fine-tune all parts of your game. You tend to, certain partnerships, you play a certain set of shots for your team and make it out there with someone else and get to hit different shots.
Absolutely. 4 or 5 years ago, you could expect the same teams in just about every tournament over the course of the season. But this year has been pretty exciting because you've seen a lot of new matchups, interesting partnerships. So it's been a fun year for the dedicated paddle fans out there. And I think the draw today shows, the different types of matchups. And, it's going to be a good look to see what happens going towards nationals, to see who the top teams are. I think teams are still trying to figure out, certain players are still trying to figure out who they want to play with in nationals. Obviously, you have Guillermo Nunez. He just won an Atlantic Classic with Felipe Ausis Koenig a couple of weeks ago. Now he's playing with Sven. So I think it's kind of the last hurrah before nationals to see where everyone fits.
Right. A lot of points on the line, a lot of money on the line, and a lot of points, which is key going into the last 3 events of the year. And that's Sven Burus, Essex County Country Club Director of Rackets, starting things off.
You see out of the gate, they're going to switch at the net as a lefty-righty team. They like their forehands in the middle.
Every lefty-righty team needs to do that as soon as possible in the point. How come, Connor? What's the problem if they don't?
Then you have backhands in the middle. Can't do much on a backhand overhead. So you want
It's the backhand overhead vulnerability.
Exactly. You get your best shot on your forehand as a lefty-righty team, like you said. Want to have your best shots in the middle of the net.
Love 15.
First point going to McNerney Powers.
15 all.
I'm excited about this match because we're going to see a lot of offense. We're going to see Guillermo Nunez taking a lot of overheads with that lefty kick. Especially in this warmer weather, that ball is going to jump. You're going to see some great points here. I think, Patty, at the end of the day, the team that volleys the best is going to come out on top.
Can't disagree with you on that one, Connor.
30,
Is that a
15.
Mark Powers miss?
I think so.
I've not said that too many times over the years.
Nunez able to find the nick there on that waterfall. I would bet here that you're going to see Mark Powers taking the majority of the overheads when he's at net with McNerney. McNerney, one of the best volleyers in the game.
Yep, and McNerney and everyone, typically you'll see McNerney, plant himself on top of the net.
Absolutely. Does not fear.
He doesn't fear that.
Yeah, does not fear a big drive. Be right on top of the net.
30, 40.
Sometimes those taller guys, they don't volley super well. But he'll be right on top of the net, can absorb the big drive.
Deuce.
And now we have deuce in the first game.
Advantage Burus.
Yeah, and we know the style of play from
Deuce.
McNerney. When he plays anybody, he looks to be the guy who sets it up. He's kind of like how Monty used to play. Monty was
Absolutely.
just willing to go and ride the strength. He usually figured out how to get really good partners. He'd get out there, and he was a phenomenal role player, and I expect that from McNerney today.
Absolutely. Monty, a former League Classic champion with Brett Kraft. Great former New Jersey pro.
Advantage Powers.
You are going to see Powers pull the trigger on the drive on most of his returns.
Hey, if I had his forehand, I would never
Absolutely.
lob.
Such quick hands on that drive, can pull the trigger very quick.
Former #1 4 years in a row for Yale University.
Again, we have some almost spring paddle weather here, and a missed cut overhead from Nunez, giving the first game to McNerney
Game,
Powers.
McNerney Powers. They lead 1 to love first set.
I was saying, Patty, we almost have some spring paddle weather here today. Temperatures might hit 60 degrees. Who do you think that favors more in this matchup?
I think Powers McNerney.
Okay.
I don't know why I say that, but that's just what I think.
Yep.
Who do you think it favors, Connor?
You know, for me, on a warmer day like today, I would not want to face a lefty. I would say Burus Nunez just because of the Nunez factor with that heavy cut overhead coming off the left hand. That ball will jump a little bit differently than what guys are used to. But still early, we're going to find out.
Love 15.
Nunez catching McNerney a little off the net there.
Well, and that's the thing that I'm so impressed with Nunez. Like, he got that ball to dip, Connor. He didn't have that much room in front of Graham. Got that ball to dip, and Graham's not known to be like a guy who bends his knees a lot on volleys. You pointed out that he's kind of like a stand-up kind of volleyer on top of the net there.
Absolutely.
And if he's not on top of the net, that's a problem.
Yes.
And there aren't that many people on the other side who have the discipline to recognize that and
Yep.
take something off and get that ball dipping
15
fast.
all.
McNerney able to find the nick there to tie it up at 15 all in the second game.
You help.
Nunez deciding to play the deuce court, whereas with Felipe Osis-Koenig played the ad court.
Well, Burus, when he played with Erdoya, he would just park himself over there in that ad court, and he kind of gave all the middle up to Erdoya.
Absolutely.
And his amazing court coverage and his amazing forehand, and he just could sit back and wait for that two-handed backhand opportunity.
It makes it tough as righties, you know, going to Sven's ad court, especially that side screen. It's going to be on Sven's backhand, which is one of the best shots in the court right here. So really not a ton of safe spots at the court if you're McNerney Powers when you're at the net.
Hey, you get to the quarters of this tournament, there's no safe spots
Exactly.
on the court anywhere. These guys are so good.
A little bit of an unnecessary cut
15
overhead there.
30.
You know, it's interesting. Given that Mark Powers has played since 2018 with John
15
Hughes,
40.
Mark's only played the left side of the court at the net. Here with McNerney, he's on the right side.
Interesting,
And I would
yeah.
look for them to switch almost as automatically, you know, as a lefty-righty do, to get Powers on, you know, to the left of Graham, to get Graham McNerney right on top of the net.
You know, that's a good point, Patty.
Every once in a while, I got one, Connor.
And, you know, McNerney playing with Juan, who, as we know, likes to take all the overheads. Doesn't matter who he's with. I'm surprised we haven't seen a switch yet here.
Well, and I mean,
30
it's
40.
kind of early in the match, and because they haven't played before,
Absolutely.
you know, they're kind of just finding their way a little bit. But I love the Powers overheads. I admit I love everything that Powers does.
Yep.
But I love this setup because he can handle any volley from off the net. He's got a ton of variety. He's got all the different spins with his overhead. Much more so than what McNerney usually demonstrates on his overheads.
Absolutely.
And with McNerney playing to the right, you know, you can see he's got an extraordinary reach, and he's a leaper as well, so it's going to be really tough for Burus to lob up the line over McNerney and be effective, I think.
Great lob. Sven being able to take the net. We have our second net exchange. Nunez, that's a great spot from Sven, trying to find Mark Powers off the net.
1-all, first set.
Maybe caught him sleeping a little bit. But just going to say, Nunez is very quick. He will look to blitz. He'll press at times. Sven sets him up on a good lob. Don't be surprised if he crashes the net. Looks to take the next one out of the air.
You just saw an example of that smooth forehand.
15.
Right.
Powers.
You know, not every player can find that small spot on the court, especially driving up the line, finding that alley. As you said, Patty, Graham McNerney, so tall, tough to really get him off the net or lob it over his head. Loves the waterfall, especially with that height. It's a lot easier for him than, you know, your average player in terms of height.
Yeah, he hits the down up, and he also jumps up.
He does.
He's got that move.
Love, 30.
So Nunez, Salazar, these are the players.
Regalato.
Yeah, Alvi, Regalato. I mean, the three of them, people
30.
kind of, they're in a cluster, and they really are in about their second full season
Exactly.
barely of play, and they immediately went to the top of the sport. I mean, that's incredible to me. With very few competitive matches under their belts, then they just started winning against the best players in the game.
Absolutely.
And I just don't remember three guys doing that in the last couple of years or in a long
30
time.
all.
Yep,
Pretty impressive.
You just saw Alvaro Regalato beat Hughes Powers in the quarterfinals of Atlantic a couple of weeks ago. I think also what works to their advantage, they're such great rackets players.
30, 40.
They're new to the tour. Not all these players have seen their game yet. So they're taking a lot of top players by surprise, unfamiliar with their game,
Deuce.
making players uncomfortable, getting out there with the first time with them. So it'll be exciting to see what happens at Nationals. Really could be, obviously, when you have a guy named Johan Durant playing, he's always going to be the favorite. But it'll be interesting to see what happens as we get to the Nationals here.
I mean, we got a long way to go this weekend, and
We do.
Durant and Mitchell barely hanging on to number one there.
Yep.
They've been in three finals this year,
Vintage
haven't won a
Powers.
tournament yet. We've had a lot of different teams, different partnerships pair up, you know, on the APTA tour so far this
Game,
season.
McNerney, Powers.
And so it's just kind of a curious year, and that's
Didi,
where I think all the
2
wins
games
that
to
these
1
guys
in
get
the
this
first set.
weekend, with points being double for
Yeah.
Short Hills being a Grand Prix, really is going to tilt the seeding going into the Nationals.
Absolutely. And we have our first break of the match with McNerney Powers going up 2-1.
So Connor, we have a special guest who's gonna join us in the booth here, and he's a special guest just because he's kind of special, because he is none other than Pete Grunberg, who grew up playing racket sports
Pete,
here
how are you? Good to
Good,
see
good,
you.
good.
Thanks
at
for
the
joining
Short
us.
Hills Club.
Hey, Patty.
Pete is a former junior national champ and open national champ, both with Artie Williams, I believe. Welcome,
Correct. Thank you. Thanks for having me up here. This is awesome. So,
Well, Pete, you know, I would love for you to just give us a little background on Short Hills, the importance of this tournament. This is the 73rd event. Do you remember your first Short Hills Invitational?
I'm not sure if I exactly remember the tournament I played in, but this is obviously a special tournament for me, having been a member here for a bunch of years, and you know, my parents who taught me a lot about, especially my dad, a lot about the game, and growing up and playing in a bunch of tournaments and having some pretty decent success over a few years. So it's really fun to continue to see this tournament be as high caliber and one of the main tournaments for the whole season.
Yeah, and a quick nod to your family and condolences and the passing of Hans recently, and
15
he was such a force in this community. Everybody knew Hans. He had such a happy face, so welcoming, so typical of the Short Hills membership and the Short Hills tournament. He was just one of those guys who always had a hug for everybody. Wise words for you and Sally, I'm sure. And
he never had any shortage of advice from me, that's for sure. So, but I appreciate the condolences. Thank you. He loved being a part of this club.
30,
that's for
15.
sure. After I don't know what it was. It was probably 40 some odd years, 42 years members here. So they've been a part of the club for a long time.
so, Pete, you've been around the sport for a few years.
Sure.
Changes in the game. You've seen it all.
Yep.
What do you think of everything? Like, who have you played against of these top guys?
It's amazing. Actually, I was thinking as I was standing down there, just starting to watch this match, and I played Sven in it was actually a member guest at a club right nearby called Clearwater. Do you know that
Yeah.
one? Small.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we love Clearwater.
In Summit, and that was the first time I really met him, like 3 years ago, and my
40,
partner
15.
and he and his partner played in the finals, and it was a pouring rain. Nobody wanted to play, and shockingly, Sven said, "Yeah, I'll still play." I'm like, "Are you crazy? You want to go out and play? You're a pro, and all that." So we got out to play with him, and man, he can bring it. That's for sure. So
You didn't give him too many backhands, did you?
I'm a quick study, and I decided to serve to his forehand. So you're right, Patty. He did not see too many backhands.
Yeah, but
my partner couldn't quite follow the same instructions.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's another thing. But I mean, it's amazing the way the game, the athleticism out here. I can't believe now being 60 that maybe I could move half as good as these guys did 30 years ago. But it's the game. I mean, the whole, as you know, Patty, the game has gotten much more lively. The ball, the court, the rackets, everything about it has changed quite a bit. So.
And I love that you mentioned Clearwater. What makes paddle special is you have a club like a Short Hills club, but a couple miles from here, Clearwater, tucked away in the woods over there. They got a couple of tennis courts, a couple of paddle courts, swim club, but passionate.
How about Summit Tennis Club?
Summit
Remember
Tennis
that
right
place?
up the street.
Yep.
Again,
Game,
another two-court
McNerney,
facility
Power.
for paddle.
Were you the pro there for a little while?
I worked there a little bit. I think I've worked everywhere.
Patty's everywhere.
Where haven't I
Talk
worked?
about somebody that's seen it all.
No, but I love those small clubs and the importance of the role they play in the sport of paddle.
Yep.
It's very cool. It's kind of a unique thing that those clubs can be brought and be a part of this. We use their courts for events.
So you'll love this. So this morning we decided to play, but of course all the courts are taken in all the clubs around here. So somebody said, let's go to the Florham Park public courts, which have a little lock on each one of the courts, and only the people in the town know the combo and they go in there. And the courts are definitely a little dated, but they still serve the purpose.
What was the combo? 1, 2, 3?
It
Just going out on a limb
probably
here.
Yeah.
Pete, you're a former national champion. You've been in the game for a long time. Who was the first player that you saw or played against where you thought, this game is going to a different level? Is taking a different trajectory?
Style of play.
Exactly. Who was the first player that really
15,
turned your head
love.
and you thought, this game might be going somewhere different?
Good question, Connor, because I can remember it because it was actually right here at Short Hills when we wound up playing the Uline brothers. Remember Patty?
Oh, yeah.
30
Good old Brian
love.
Uline. And Brian had, I don't know, like everybody here has unbelievable spin serves. That guy had,
Oh,
if
my
not
Lord.
the biggest still that ever played. And he used to just hit an incredible serve. I mean, every single swing that he took at the ball, you know, on his overheads or on his serves. I mean, he would be one of those guys, first guys. I played the deuce court, and he would hit it down the middle, and I had to make sure because he was the guy that could get it over to the side
Yeah.
screen on the other side of the court.
Right.
So I would look to cut it off any way that I could because I wanted to conserve my energy, not chase the ball down. So, you know, I think that was like that beginning turn where people were really using the spins and the combination with the power.
We have McNerney Powers here with an early lead, 3-1 in the first.
What do you guys think of this match? Who's the favorite?
Now, I was saying before, Pete, I think this is the most even matchup in the quarters. There's real no clear favorite. You have two national champions playing on either side with Mark Powers and Sven Burus. You would have to give the nod to Graham McNerney and Mark Powers just because Nunez is still new to the game. You know, has not really, I don't believe has played with Sven yet at this point in the season. So I think at this point you would have to give the nod to McNerney Powers. That's just me, Patty.
I give the nod to anybody who's got Mark Powers on their team.
Exactly. Graham McNerney won Chicago Charities with Wanaraya this season.
Who's Sven?
Nunez and played with Burus in Detroit this year. This is their second tournament together, I think.
Second tournament.
Yeah.
Who's Sven normally been playing with, or has he not really had? Because he played with Mick.
Played with Mick, and Mick's not playing, so he's Sven's played with someone down in Philly. I forgot who that was, but he played Detroit with Nunez. They're good.
Yeah, for sure. Where's Alvy this weekend?
I don't know where Alvy and Jose Salazar are. I was disappointed that they weren't here, given that all the other great teams are here.
I saw Jose on Thursday. Unfortunately, his club Stanwich, yes, has their member guest today. So he had to be at the club for the member guest, and he said, I'm going to be sure not to make the same mistake next year when scheduling. So we should be sure to see him next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Burus and Nunez did play Detroit. They went out in the semis in Detroit.
Okay.
And I think I heard a rumor that maybe Powers is playing nationals with Nunez.
40-15.
Possibly. Heard it through the grapevine.
Like there's always, you know, people trying to find their right partner for all these tournaments, right?
40-30.
That's right. Humphrey Sosa's Koning beat Burus Nunez in the semis. Stomped on him out in Detroit, 3-0.
Okay. I was just over at Canoebrook before watching Drew play his match against. That was quite a battle. A three-set match that he and Jared went down. You know, but it was a tight one, back and forth.
I was saying I haven't even seen Drew and Martin yet. So
Yeah, Martin's out there
Martin's
playing
out
in the
playing.
quarters
yep,
against.
that was the last score posted in that round of 16. So sounded like it was a great match.
Pete, what happened in the third set of that match?
You know, it was
What was the difference?
Going back and forth. At the end of the second, Martin and his partner got a little. It went to a breaker, and it got a little. They went for probably a little bit too much from what I could
Advantage
tell.
Burus.
They lost the breaker. Drew and Jared were playing really well, and then they seemed to slow it down a bit in the third set
Game,
and
Burus,
kind of
Nunez.
played a bit more patient. Martin did, and they just held
McNerney
strong, held their
Powers
serve,
lead
and
3-2 in the
6-3.
first set.
I think
6-3? Yep.
Volley is the proud sponsor of the APTA. As the first AI-enabled training experience, Volley modernizes racket sports by delivering the on-demand dynamic system for live play training and better workouts. Volley creates a community to connect pros and players while giving personalized performance insights to track progress and customize their practice. Ask your pro about a Volley lesson today. For more information, visit get.volley.com. Anyone out there, I highly recommend using one of your volley machines if you have it at your club, or nagging your pro to get it at your club.
Oh yeah, it's a great opportunity to work on
15
your game.
love.
Pete, I don't know. Have you been up against
You
the
know,
volley machine yet?
I saw it live for the first time yesterday, and it looks really cool. I mean, what a great way to go out there
30
and
love.
get somebody,
Yeah.
like Patty, all those days of feeding balls.
Yes.
Now you have a machine that can do it, right?
That's right. Saves a lot of shoulders.
It sure does.
It's a big game for Burus. Nunez to win on that last one. Still only 1 game away as opposed to being down 4 games to 1. Cameron Nunez, a former
40 love.
Court 1 singles player at TCU, Horned Frogs.
Some serious tennis.
Yeah, Big 12 tennis is no joke. This warmer weather, you're going to see some of the teams in the backcourt look to take advantage on some balls high on the screen, looking to mix in some drives off the screen. Not necessarily even driving for the winner, but hoping to maybe catch someone off the net.
Yeah, I love how the thinking of other differences with the way people can just hit these cutters that just die. I think I can hit one a month or something like that. I don't know. I think it's got to be just right, but these guys seem to hit it routinely.
Game McNerney
How do you
Powers.
perfected that shot?
Totally. Eyes closed. I can hit it. Lefty or righty.
I think it's
They lead
just a
the
little
first
drop
set,
shot's
4
better,
games to
right?
2.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, the difference now is, Pete, you see these top players, and so much of the difference in the match is just someone who can end the points, and that's where Araya, with his cutter
15
drop
love.
shots, like he was really one of the guys who changed how the game was played, and you lob short against him, and
Over.
he just
15
took advantage
all.
of it, and then everybody has the benefit of watching live stream, and you see club level players trying all these shots all the time.
Right.
As you said, here you are a former national champion. You know how difficult it is to actually do it on demand.
Yeah, just putting the ball away today is just so tough. These points just go on and on forever.
Pete, I'm curious, who'd you beat when you won nationals in the finals?
We wound up beating Mike Gillespie and Ron Erskine. So
2 New Jersey
A
legends.
lot of Jersey strong
Well,
presence right
yeah,
there.
that was an all Jersey battle. That was our first. We wound up beating Steve Baird and Richie Mayer in a really tough semifinal battle. So that was our fun. That was kind of our chance to start breaking through against those guys a couple times. Some real legends of the game.
Was Ron Erskine still rocking the rec specs back in the day then?
Ron was
15-30.
always coming to net.
Yep.
He was. If you wanted to know where Ron was, you just had to look at him right in your face, right in front of you at the net.
I could just see him hitting another volley.
He was blitzing all the time, so we had to try and avoid him at all costs.
15-40.
But then the next year, Patty, we lost to your old partner in the finals.
Muller Gambino?
No, that was Kelsey.
Muller Kelsey, that's right.
Yep.
At Montclair Golf Club.
At Montclair. That was. That might have been the first, I think, live stream.
Yeah. I think we did it in collaboration with like a local cable.
It was. I remember that.
Bruce Spinaglia or whatever that guy's
Yeah.
name. I just remember meeting him.
Game
The best part
McNerney
about
Powers.
that, if you remember, they wound
You ball
up.
guys?
We put up temporary courts, which
Yep.
you guys need to do. You guys need to do it. Okay. You put up the temporary courts.
McNerney Powers lead the first set 5 games
Bruce
to 2.
Kelsey will probably kill me if you were actually listening to this, because they were asking him for advice which way to position the court. away from the sun in the afternoon, and he had it wrong.
Oh no!
I remember that.
And if you watch, you can actually still see it on YouTube. It was so brutal with the sun hitting you on the one side. So, you know, we just missed which way to turn it the right direction.
All right, McNerney Powers with an early lead here in the first set, 5-2. For Burus, Nunez want to slow it down a little bit, look for some long points.
This is what I was going to be curious about in this match. I felt like Graham and Mark did have an advantage, only in that, you know, Burus Nunez, you know, they did play that other tournament, but I just don't know, you know, tactically, if they were looking to make what adjustments they would need, and I think Graham's a really smart player. Mark Powers is a really smart player.
15
and,
love.
You know, they all have every shot in the book, but they only bring out what they need to win. And you know, there's a lot to be said for doing what you do well and do it really, really well. And sometimes that's enough. And right now in this match, it's not like Powers is playing lights out and you've seen him do like Mark Powers things.
Love.
They're just sort of plodding their way through this first set.
Yeah, some good, consistent, just getting the ball back in play. And
shout out to Mary Chambers down in Easton, Maryland, Pete.
30,
Oh, I
15.
love
Pete
it.
knows a little about Easton, Maryland, and Mary
Yeah.
moved from Chatham and plays a little bit down there. And I know Mark and Sally Allen
Yeah,
are finding some people to play, and there's 2 courts at the Y,
playing at the
Easton.
Y right there in Easton, so that's great. Boy, sounds like it'll get more and more people that know paddle down there. We'll
That's right.
get them to fix up the courts and maybe even get another court.
We need an Easton Invitational.
Yeah, I think, Patty, if anyone can do it, you can do it.
Let's go, Pete.
Yeah.
I'm signing you up.
Yeah, I know my sister will help. She'll be right there helping out.
She's pumped. I told her we'd go down a
Yeah.
couple times in the spring. I have a stepson in the special needs Benedictine community down there, so we're down a lot, and I've grown to
40-15.
love the Eastern Shore of Maryland.
Yeah, it's a beautiful part of the Maryland for sure.
Yep, double set point here for McNerney. Powers.
Previous point, you just saw McNerney step up to the net and just absorb that volley, which you see him do so often. You see him right on top of that net, left it as a drop shot. See how calm and collected he is there, even in the face of that. He knows the drive's coming and just absorbs it at the net.
That's where Nunez kind of, I think if he sees McNerney on top of the net there, it'd be lovely to lob Graham, push him back a little
get him
bit.
off.
40,
the net.
30.
I mean, Graham loves being challenged in that situation.
We've
Graham
set
usually comes out ahead in those moments.
Patty, as you know, the good lobs still work no matter, you know, at what level or in any way. You got to push them back from the net.
Yep.
Two
Deuce.
set points missed there for McNerney's Powers. We have deuce. Graham serving up 5-2. We have set point number 3 here.
Advantage
McNerney's
McNerney.
Powers.
Couldn't have had a better day for this, right?
Perfect day for the Short Hills Invitation. Love the crowds here, Pete.
Yep.
I mean, they're all over. The deck's covered in
Yep.
between the courts. It's kind of why we love this event. And everybody who watches here, they know what they're talking about. Like, they know the first names of all the players. It's a super knowledgeable paddle community.
It sure is. Give paddle community free beer and great paddle, and they're happy.
They'll come out of the woodwork, that's for sure.
Game, set, McNerney, Powers.
All right, well, maybe I'll
They won
Well,
the
Pete,
first
thanks
set.
for joining us,
6
and
games to
enjoy the
2.
action from outside.
All right.
We will be
Pete,
right
thanks for
back.
coming.
We
Great,
will be
thank
right
you.
back.
Great to hear from you.
We will be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by My Paddle.
At Corient, we believe wealth management begins and ends with you. Because the more personal the solution, the more powerful it is. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And provide unlimited access to the collective and profound knowledge of experts across the country. It's time your wealth strategy was as sophisticated as you. It's time to join Corient.
Love 15.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We are live from Short Hills Club in Short Hills, New Jersey. This is men's quarterfinal action between Sven Burus and Guillermo Nunez and Graham
15
McNerney and
all.
Mark Powers. McNerney and Powers just won that first set 6-2. I'm Patty Hogan along with Connor Breen. Thanks to Pete Grunberg. Nice visit from former national champ, one of Short Hills' finest.
You know, Patty, in the second set, I'd like to see Burus Nunez slow it down a little bit. I think Guillermo Nunez doesn't need to make the big shot.
30-15.
You know, both McNerney's Powers can handle all types of cuts and spins. They're accustomed to it. They're veteran players. You know, he doesn't have to go for the big shot all the time. You want the longer points. I think that'll play in their favor. So far, McNerney's Powers playing very steady. As we were saying before, Mark Powers, one of the best players in the game.
Every conversation. Pick your top 4 guys in the sport.
40-15.
Johan always gets mentioned.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's a pick 'em with a couple of guys, and Mark Powers is in everyone's conversation. It's how good he is. So I'm thrilled to have him back out here on the court.
40-30.
You see that miss volley by Burus. You know, it's 60 degrees out, definitely weather-induced. It's 30 degrees, that ball is probably falling in.
But, you know, this is the thing. This is like a vintage Graham McNerney match that he's involved with, Connor. Graham plays super high percentage, real smart guy out on the court. He doesn't force things, whether he's at the net or on the baseline. He's kind of willing to go out there, play all day, throw up a million lobs, offset it with a little bit of an off-pace ball, you know, which you don't get away with too much, but a little off-pace, straight ahead there. Just kind of didn't hit it for a winner. It's just kind of trying to open up the court and get Powers, you know, some looks on his forehand.
Absolutely. And Graham is one of the best, quote-unquote, setup guys in the country. You know, has won big tournaments with Juan Araya.
Sure, they won charities this year.
Won charities this year, one of the Grand Prix. And has no problem lobbing all day when you have a guy named Mark Powers playing in the ad court. You know, it's easy to stick to your guns and know your role and execute.
Right, and he knows Powers has every shot in the book, but Powers he's got that other intangible. He's got that gray matter intangible, how he manages himself. I mean, I've never seen him really show being flustered in a match, no matter, you know, if things going his way or not. He's just kind of knows how to level it out. He's really the ultimate competitor out here.
Absolutely. If he wins a big point or loses a big point, not going to show much emotion.
He's not going to do any backflips.
He's not.
So following quarterfinal men's action, we'll have the women's semis slated for 6 o'clock tonight, or at the completion of the 2 quarters that are being live streamed right now. We've got Martin Bostrom and Philippe Rams playing in another live stream quarterfinal match against Boston's Stephen Mitchell and Johan Durant.
Deuce.
If you're Burus Nunez, you want to get this first hold. You don't want to break going into the second set after losing the first. You want some kind of momentum after dropping that set kind of handily.
Yeah, that's a good point. They need a good start, Connor.
They need a good start.
I just don't know their ability to claw back, what that's like as 2 guys playing and they haven't played that many tournaments together.
Correct.
Sometimes it's hard to come up with a strategy that you both agree upon on how you have to claw your way back into a match. You know, you start off and you say, okay, this is what we want to do, and then it doesn't work out. You know, do they have a plan A, B, C, D, E, and F to go to?
All right, are they going to make adjustments? Are they going to change their strategy? Because it was 6-2, but it wasn't a long 6-2. See a volley a little deep
Advantage
off of the
Powers.
drive from Mark Powers.
Game. McNerney,
Not
Powers.
what do you want to see from Sven?
They lead.
He's the former
second
national
set,
champ. He
one
has to be
game
the
to
captain
love.
of this team.
They won the first
That
set.
serve
6
into the
games to
net.
2.
Early break for McNerney's Powers.
Yeah, and as the former national champ, you're right. You think he's got to sort of
He's
strap
got to
it on, as they
He's got to
say.
be the captain here. You know, Nunez is a younger player. You want him to be that leader on the team, calling shots, kind of looking to change the game and make the tweaks they need to.
So the thing that'll be interesting is from what I've seen when Burus plays, like, he's not like that kind of guy, Connor, out there in matches. He's not like a rah-rah, come on, let's do this. He seems more accepting of just to let the game flow as it's naturally going to flow.
Definitely.
So I'll be curious if he goes out of character and takes the lead, to be quite honest.
15 love.
And I mean, Nunez, I'm so impressed by him, just rock solid, makes very few unforced errors and just seems to have the correct instincts for the game and for the points and the moments in matches, and I have a lot of respect for his game.
He does. As we said earlier, an elite tennis player. Just picked up the game recently. I think as long as he's playing, you're going to see his name for a long time.
You know, I kind of feel like Salazar, Nunez, Albi, Rigopato. I didn't mean to leave him out of the conversation before, but I was saving Albi for last.
Yep.
I mean, these guys are the real deal, and
They are.
you know, they enter every tournament, and you know,
15
they're deep in
all.
the quarters, semis, finals, which is really amazing. And that's where the game used to be kind of predictable, and you'd have certain teams, and you know, they all headed to Chicago. It was kind of predictable who were going to be your 4 semifinalists, and it's not like that anymore.
Yeah, that's what made this season so fun. You know, it's not the same cast of characters you usually see. It's not the same teams that you see week in and week out as you would see maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I think it's good for the game, you know, mixing and matching. I think the players enjoy it.
See, I want to see Nunez jump on that ball.
I do
on his
too,
forehand.
Patty.
I think he's yielding to Burus a little bit, and it's unlikely that Burus is going to pull the trigger on a forehand, really.
Right.
And Nunez, I've seen him,
30,
he can fire his
15.
forehand.
I'd also like to see him press a little bit more. Maybe look to mix in a blitz. He's very fast, has great hands. You know, just do something to kind of rattle Powers and McNerney a little bit.
30
Catch him
all.
sleeping. Again, great volleying for McNerney's Powers.
40,
I said at the
30.
start of this match, whichever team volleys the best is going to come out on top. And so far, McNerney's Powers are almost batting 1,000 on their volleys here.
Yeah,
Game. McNerney, Powers.
there's no real easy offense going over to Nunez in this match. You know, like with just the shots coming off of Burus and Nunez's paddle. I don't feel like we're getting a full look at what Nunez can do with the ball. He hasn't gotten that many looks, and that's where Powers and McNerney,
Love, 15.
you know, they have a real good sense where the threats are from, and they're not going to hit the ball. That's going to be the one that can kind of juice Nunez. They want to keep him quiet if they can. What
Right.
a shot from McNerney to pick that off. He
15 all.
missed it there, but pulled the trigger very fast for McNerney. I mean, I think be kind of fun to see Nunez. If he can go after McNerney a little bit, see what he can't do over in that deuce corner against Graham.
This is a good matchup.
I mean, it's tough because we know Graham's going to just hit a million balls back.
Exactly. Graham will have no problem sending up a ton of lobbies. He's lobbing well down the line, so he's trying to get it down the line to get an overhead to Mark's side of the court.
Yeah, I just don't think Burus' overhead is going to break down Powers.
No.
So I just want to see if Nunez' overhead could impact
30,
McNerney
15.
a little bit.
I think that's the matchup you want if you're Burus Nunez. You want Nunez taking that overhead with that big lefty kick in this warmer weather. Kind of
40,
force them
15.
to move at the baseline, create a little disruption.
Love what Nunez just went there. He kind of really moved through that first volley. He hit it from much closer to the net because he saw McNerney making the move in.
Yep.
Just
40,
stomped
30.
on that ball. And Graham couldn't come up with that one.
Deuce. Couple inches.
Just missed that volley there. Again, if it's a little colder, maybe that ball sits. So tough to handle that volley exploding off of Powers' paddle. Again, you see McNerney lobbing down the line, trying to get a setup for Mark. It's great lobbing from McNerney so far. Doesn't want to lob cross court or else it gets a good angle for Nunez at that lefty cut. Lucky break lucky break for Burus Nunez, unlucky for McNerney Powers.
Advantage Nunez.
Burus Nunez need this game to keep it within one. Such quick hands from Mark Powers.
Yeah, I think they've got a hold in this game. Because I just think Powers and McNerney, when they've got their foot in their gas, they're not gonna take their foot off the gas.
That is an unbelievable cut overhead from Mark Powers.
Deuce.
I was surprised Guillermo Nunez got the first one that went his way. If you're Graham, obviously they're going to come your way, but with this warm weather, it's going to be waiting for a high ball on that screen. Mix in a drive, not necessarily to win the point, but again, maybe catch someone off the net. Graham's kicking himself for that one. No need to take it. Mark Powers is right there. All right, so that's a big hold for Burus Nunez, Patty.
Yeah, they had to have that game.
McNerney Powers lead the second set 2-1. They won the first set 6-2.
Connor Shorthill's Invitational using 20 clubs in the area. Just an amazing amount of courts being used. We always thank the generosity of all the clubs, because if we didn't have all the clubs to give us their courts, we could never pull off such a great event here for the APTA. And kudos to Brian Skinner, Crystal Skinner. They've just got the tour de force here with the committees that always pull off this event. We've got Jerry and Diane Brown, Glenn, we've got Bob Cahill, Gosha handles food and beverage, Mark Embrick did a great job with sponsorship. And Derek Bowen, president of the club, Christina Bowen, also key players in this. I mean, it does take a village to pull off this event. Just amazing amount of scheduling, everything that goes into it, and Short Hills Club and their committee. very much like Chicago and John Noble and his crew out there. You know, it's a force, and every year they come back and they get a ton of helpers and seem to seamlessly pull it off to the eye of the spectator.
Love
But,
15.
you know, it's a year of planning behind the scenes to pull this off.
Yeah, it's great to see the New Jersey paddle community come together to
15
put on
all.
really a production like this. And obviously all the clubs in the area being so generous donating their courts to this event. You know, if you donate your courts, clubs
15,
can't have
30.
their own club tournaments and and stuff like that. So very nice of the clubs in the area to lend their hand to this day. Short Hills is home to not one but two of the best tournaments in the country. You have the League Classic here in December, which is the New Jersey State League Paddle Tournament.
New Jersey Men's Platform Tennis Association's event that they run every year, Connor?
That is correct. I believe we had 160 teams participate, one of the biggest draws in any tournament in the country.
But there's 6 tournaments going on over Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Something like 464 players participating in all the different events. There's something for everyone. And
Absolutely.
great management on Short Hills team to pull
40,
this off.
30.
And, you know, it is a giant puzzle that they put together every year, take apart, and they'll start planning maybe next Tuesday for next year's event.
Absolutely. I think most players will agree. The Short Hills Invitational has one of the best lunches on the tour. Always having a great spread in their dining room. So thank you to their food and beverage.
Oh, Gosha's all over it every year.
Great volley from Mark Powers there.
Advantage Burus.
Big point here for Burus Nunez, looking for a break to tie it up 2-all in the second.
Good update. Ron and Mitchell won the first set over Rams and Bostrom 6-4, but Rams and Bostrom turning it around here in the second set, and they're up 4-1.
Burus Nunez looking to break here after getting broken in the first game of the second set.
I feel like Nunez, Burus, they're feeling a little better about things right now, Connor.
I think so.
I feel like they're a little looser. Wow.
What a cut.
I mean, that ball off the snowboards.
Deuce.
That's what makes Mark Powers so special. Putting all his momentum, look at that velocity and the RPMs on that cut.
Advantage Burus.
Connor, shout out to our buddy up in Maine, David Chalson and Deb Chalson, enjoying the action.
David, hope to see you soon. One of the legends of the game.
Hopefully we'll see David up in Boston at Nationals.
All right, well, we have 2-all here in the second.
Nunez.
Critical game there for
2-all.
Burus Nunez to stay in it. 2-all feels a lot better than 3-1.
You know, Burus doesn't, he's not one of these guys that's kind of you know, you see him being emotive. That's my point. You know, his style is much more low-key, but I just saw a fist pump with Nunez. That was a big sign.
Absolutely.
Love 15.
Again, Mark Powers so dangerous with that forehand drive, especially in this warmer weather. These volleys are a lot tougher when you're at the net. Great lob just from Graham, just clipping the side alley line.
Love 30.
Sven was broken when he served first in the second set. Looking to get a hold here. That's a great 1-2 punch. You see Graham McNerney get a early lead when Mark Powers is winding up for that drive, and he's right there to pick off that volley at the net.
Game, McNerney Powers.
All right, so we have back-to-back breaks
They
here, Patty.
lead
Yeah,
the
Connor,
second
that's-
set 3-2. They won the first set 6-2.
In collaboration with the APTA, Fusion is at the forefront of personalized gear and apparel. Backed by a team of seasoned industry experts, we provide exclusive access to high-end products from top-tier retail brands, all poised for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate branding. Our streamlined approach guarantees a hassle-free shopping experience, complemented by custom online storefronts and swift ordering. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion seamlessly weave your branding into elite merchandise.
Yeah, so Connor, you pointed out Burus was broken to start the second set. They got it at 2-all, and then he was broken again. We'll see if that's a factor. I think that could hurt.
Good volleying for McNerney and Powers.
And as the game has changed, Connor, it's become so much transition. You know, we haven't seen a ton of
15
transition in
love.
this match because of the overheads.
Absolutely.
But, you know, break of service doesn't have the meaning or the weight against your team as it used to, because everybody's so talented from the baseline. They can pull the trigger and just hit the winners from almost anywhere.
I'd like to see Nunez slow it down a little bit at the backcourt. Doesn't have to strike his ball 110% when he's driving, especially if you get Powers, McNerney off the net. I'd like to see him drive to force the error, not drive to hit the winner.
And you drive to create spaces for yourself. You know, if you drive, you make the guy move in to hit a volley, opens up some space behind you. Just like a lob will open up some space potentially in front of you.
Yep.
So it's a lot of, there's tactical reasons for it. Wow, what a volley from Graham right there, McNerney.
30.
I'm surprised Burus
love.
Nunez didn't give up the net with Powers winding up on that forehand.
You just see, this is Mark Powers' time. That's what I'm saying. The guy has money. He gets any short ball, and he's really thoughtful about where he hits that ball.
What a serve from Powers, too. Nunez took that ball in the other, all the way to the right of the alley,
30,
the ad
15.
alley. Burus Nunez, you have to try to find a way to limit the unforced errors. That's a good drive there.
40,
Nunez.
30.
Yeah, and he forced the volley error from McNerney. He knows McNerney's got a little movement, likes, you know, cover to his right. Kind of hit just a tiny bit behind him there, ever so much. forcing the error. Wow, what a rip cross court.
Deuce.
I just like it when I've seen the little that I've seen of Nunez play this year, when he gets on a roll over there.
Advantage
he's
Powers.
Really fun to watch.
He is. He's exciting.
Yeah, he's got the creativity to his game.
I love watching lefties play with that different types of spin. The ball comes off the net or off their paddle differently. Guys will struggle with
Deuce.
it. He can drive the forehand and the backhand, which even some of the top players can't do.
And you saw Burus kind of sneak up. He just kind of did it. Wanted to see if he could cause a little distraction.
Yep.
Get maybe an overhead.
Just to make him think twice. Oh, Graham.
Burus made a good move. We know he's always
That's
looking for
Burus.
the two-handed backhand. Took a ball coming right at his body, got out of the way, and hit his two-handed backhand. Got the volley error. Could get the break right back. What a get from Burus as he seemingly lumbered up to the net for that ball. I think he was caught like leaning back a little bit. And then
Yeah.
he only had to take a couple of steps, though, for him.
Finds the nick. Big point here for Burus Nunez. Break point.
Deuce.
Yeah, it just went a little too big right there.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see him just rip that ball, go right at, pick a target.
Right. That's the one where I'd like to see Nunez slow it down a little bit. You don't need that heavy pace there.
Advantage Powers.
Really good overhead from McNerney. Just put a little bit out of the reach of Burus over there.
Good dig off the nick from Nunez.
Game McNerney Powers.
Big hold right there.
Big hold. They
lead
had a
4-2
break
in the
point
second set.
to tie it up at 3-all. Now down 2 serving 4.
Whoopsie. Mention of a new ball right
Yep.
in the middle of his toss.
New ball. Sorry about that.
I can't say I've ever seen that before.
No, I felt bad as I was
That was pretty funny.
looking at you. Might would have hit it a little bit.
Warm day, the ball doesn't meet, kind of sits in the umpire's pocket. Day like this, you don't really need to hit it around.
All right.
Just
That ball will be
resume play.
lively. No need to smack it around like you said, Patty.
We got a
Wow.
little pickle going on the paddle court there.
That ball might have rolled on that net there. Watch this. Roller.
Love 30.
little score update in one of the other quarterfinals. Durant Mitchell won the first set over Bostrom Rams 6-3, and now Bostrom Rams
15-30.
is up 4-2 in the second. Just missed
30
that
off.
drive, Mark Powers. In the top of the net, he trying to find Sven off the net.
Just love when Powers gets ready to tee off on that forehand. You just
Right.
see that prep. The paddle goes up high, and then watch out.
Oh, 40-30.
And they don't mind if McNerney tries to bring the offense. You know, that's what
Right,
Nunez and Burus would welcome.
right. Great back-to-back volleys from Nunez. Again, you're going to see Graham lobbing down the line to try to set up his partner.
That was
Great
a
cut.
great cutter from Burus. Right
Game Burus Nunez.
Veteran play from Sven. Needed the big point there, needed the big shot.
McNerney Powers
I like
lead
that,
the
how much he
second
let
set,
that
4
ball
games
drop.
to 3.
on
He did.
him,
He won
because
the
then he
first
could
set,
get more
6
spin on
to
that
2.
ball. It's the advantage of letting that ball drop as you're set up, and you can really hit a nasty cutter. Connor, it's kind of fun that we've got the longer days ahead of us here. It's 5:15 local time here in Short Hills, still light out.
I love it. A little taste of spring. Although for all the New Jerseyans listening out there, it's supposed to get some snow, a little bit of snow early Tuesday morning. So all of our ladies who play in the New Jersey Women's League out here might have a snowy match on Tuesday.
Oh boy, that's all you have to say, Connor.
I'm sure the pros out there don't want to deal with that and want to get the matches in on Tuesday as opposed to making it up Thursday.
Only because there's over 1,200 players involved.
Exactly.
A rain out or a snow out is brutal on the schedule for the rest of the week.
Like the long points here from Burus Nunez. Playing a little bit steadier, waiting for the right time to pull the trigger offensively.
All right, Burus, 2 forehands in a row,
Yep.
Connor. Off speed, just to pull Powers in.
Exactly. Not driving to necessarily win the point, just maybe
Sure, when you
catch him
have,
off the net.
you have the 2 righties and you see the stagger where Powers was behind Graham McNerney, and Sven just rolling, just hitting like 2 off-speed balls. Just kind of a slow, flat shot. Just pulled Powers in a little bit.
Forehand drive from Nunez
15
going
love.
long after catching the net cord.
$15 all.
So that's Graham McNerney serving. His partner, Mark Powers, is to the left with the white shorts on, the lighter shorts. That's Guillermo Nunez. Far side, the lefty. And that's Sven Burus. At court, two-handed backhand master.
30-15.
Like the way Sven's looking for the drive off the screen. I get a lot of looks with this bouncier ball, warmer weather. Wow, great hands up at the net. Great exchange, and then Burus Nunez takes to control the net.
I believe Fraser Morgan, Connor, have advanced in their quarterfinals. I think they took out Hansen and Wright.
40-15.
Fraser Morgan will play the winner of this match.
Hansen and Wright had a great start to the season, making the finals of Montclair, I believe, Patty. Another new matchup on tour this year.
Game McNerney Powers.
Yeah, Mick Erdoya won his own event at Montclair, teaming up with Scott Kaler, and they beat Hansen and Wright in the finals there 2-3. Erdoya Kaler had beaten Araya McNerney in the semis. Hansen and Wright had beaten Bostrom Palmer in their
15 love.
Connor, does Sven hold? What do you think?
I think Sven holds here.
Okay.
You know, veteran player. I think we're going to see him lock in here.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl, Connor?
Ooh, that is a good question. I want the Niners to win, but if I'm a betting man, I'm betting Kansas City.
15 all.
Hard to bet against Mahomes.
Hard to bet against Mahomes. They've been there before. But thankfully, I'm not a betting man. I have enough vices, Patty.
$30-15.
Surprised Powers went cross-court on that drive when he had Nunez off the net. Starting to get a little darker here in Short Hills. Sun's starting to go down. Lights are all on all 5 courts here at SHC. And we have 30 all.
30 all.
I love that. He apologized.
And he is sorry. 40. Mark's a nice guy. Not out there trying to hit anyone purposely.
I mean, not as nice as John Hughes, but still a nice guy. That was always the joke about how nice
Tough
John
to compete against that. All right, and we have match point number 1, Patty.
There it is. Game, set, match. McNerney Powers.
Connor, really well played match from McNerney
playing,
and
guys.
Powers right out of the box. I thought that they started the match and were
Welcome.
very clear about a plan, and I think they rode that wave. I think first Nunez did a little better job in the second set, but Powers and McNerney advance, and they'll play in the semis against Frisia Morgan tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Connor, thanks so much. That's a wrap right here. We'll be back 6 o'clock for the women's semifinal action. Thanks, Connor Breen.
Thanks, Patty.